You're listening to Around Comics. 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 Comics.
You are listening to Around Comics. You're also watching Around Comics, episode 416. Lazy Thursday. The Thursday, I don't
I've
know.
not been lazy today.
No, you went to a baseball game
I
today.
did. Brewers home opener. They kicked the Cardinals' ass.
Oh, did they? I didn't.
Oh, yeah,
I
it was
didn't see
bad.
it. Well, that's because you were there. I mean, that's
It is. Yeah. Yeah. My winning percent. Yeah. If my winning percentage, if I were a manager, I would have been fired before the All-Star break.
I'm Brian Salazar. That's Christopher Niesman. Thomas Caters is unwell. He has got the flu and is not here today. It is
the flu. He got tested.
He did get tested. It's just the flu. My I'm supposed to go. I was supposed to go to my brother-in-law's this Sunday for Easter, and his wife started back at work in the office this week and got a message today. Oh, you were in a meeting with someone that had COVID. So now we're not sure about Easter. We're not sure what's going to happen.
It's so weird. I mean, we're in this I feel like we are in this very weird in between place. I just went with 44,000 of my best friends, down at old AmFan Field. And then and then here it's like, I may not be able to go see my family this weekend.
Right?
Yeah, it's weird.
It is
so weird.
All right, enough of that talk.
Yes.
Hey, Stephen Orr is on the chat line there. He says, "Hi, a long-time listener, first-time watcher. What's up, Stephen?" He does.
Wow.
He does a good.
What was his reaction when he saw us for the first time?
Whoa! Those guys. Stephen does a really good podcast. He's one of the most prolific podcasters, comic book podcasters out there. The guy, I think he has more podcasts than me, and that's
passed up David Price.
Does David have more than? What does David do other than?
He did 3 or 4.
Did he?
Wow.
Oh my goodness!
And he was a podcast whore. He would be on. He was the first guest on our show.
That's right. This is true. But yeah, Stephen does. He does a bunch of podcast stuff. So check that out. Check that out sometime. If you're not listening to Around Comics.
Yeah, there you go.
Stephen or else, I believe, is one of his podcasts. At least one of them. What's going on, man? Other than watching the Cardinals lose.
Yeah.
Who else hit a home run? Hit his, what was it? 9,000?
His first game. It was his 680th. It was his first home run as a Cardinal since 2011.
Wow.
I wore the Pujols jersey today. That's
very nice.
I looked at my wife and I said, "Yes, the first time in 11 years I've worn this jersey."
What are not to continue the baseball. I mean, this is what we do. We talk baseball when we're supposed to be talking comics, but
baseball, comics, movies. Yeah.
What are Milwaukee fans like when they see a visiting fan in the stands? Are they very polite? Are they? I know, I've been to Minnesota as a White Sox fan, and you can just feel the passive aggressiveness. I mean,
that's upper Midwest nice.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to say something. They're just not.
There's no way they're gonna. But
Brewers fans, they're kind of like White Sox fans when a Cardinal fan is at a White Sox game. It's kind of like, I've got to give you a little shit just because that's what is expected.
Yeah, right.
But it's good natured.
It's not like it used to be back in the 80s, 90s. If you came to, especially when you came to Comiskey Park.
Oh, Comiskey or County, I bet.
Yeah. Then it was, you're taking your life in your hands, I think, at that point. If you were.
Brewers fans are cool. Really, honestly, the Brewers fans are like White Sox fans because we all have a shared hatred of the Cubs.
This is true.
Brewers fans, I hear that. If there's one thing I hear more often than anything is, at least you're not a Cubs fan.
I do enjoy Cub fans when the White Sox are clearly the better team, because Cub fans are so passionate, and uninformed for the most part. They're more than willing. They're more than willing to make bets on their team, even though the White Sox are clearly in a better place as an organization.
Yeah, if a Cub fan is taking any bets on their team being better than the Sox or Cardinals or Brewers or a lot of other teams, they're separating themselves from their money. Their team sucks.
Yeah, they're not good.
All right, enough baseball.
Enough baseball.
Round
baseball, that's our other podcast.
But we should talk about our other podcast because we're not going to be recording it this weekend. Sal and I do ACTV, which is part of our Patreon program.
Oh, and I got lots of TV to talk about too.
I know, and I was thinking, it's like, hey, since we're not recording that on Sunday, we can talk a little TV tonight because we're not taking away.
We could
from ACTV.
Yeah.
Can we talk? Yeah. Can we talk about you? First of all, your suggestion from last week. I told Marta today I have like 3 favorite shows that I'm watching right now, and if you had me, say which was my favorite, I would be hard pressed between Winning Time, Minx, and Slow Horses. Goddamn, Slow Horses is good.
Yeah, I knew that show was all you. I mean, that was as soon as I saw it. I mean, Gary.
Right, this is Chris's jam.
Gary. I mean, it's Gary Oldman as a burnt out old spy. Like, how do you not watch that? Yeah,
he is such an asshole. I mean, like me. It's fucking me.
When the first episode when he's like the guy. All right, so to give people, if you haven't seen the show Slow Horses, it's on Apple TV, right? Is it Apple TV?
Apple TV, yes.
And it's about a MI6 British spy agent dude who gets in trouble and he gets sent to like the Doghouse agency, which is run by burnt out old miserable Gary Oldman.
And Slow House.
Yes, and he hates you as soon as you walk in the door because you must have done something to fuck up, because he did, and that's why he's there. At least this, we assume he is. And this young agent guy comes in and he's like making him go through garbage for no reason, and
is no reason. But yeah, and the thing is, he's not hiding. He's like, no, I don't like you.
Yeah, it's like you this isn't because of anything other than I just don't like you. And that's what he tells him right off the bat. It's just like, okay, all right.
So the guy, it's River Cartwright is the characters. I describe him as if Simon Pegg and Tom Cruise had a baby.
Yeah, that's a pretty good description. Yeah.
Right.
He's good looking, kind of leading man looks, but has a bit of.
He's like he's the most handsome version of Simon Pegg you could ever think of.
Yeah, that's a good. Well, he's British. They only get so handsome. I mean, right. Who's the most handsome British guy out there? I don't know. Like, I can't even think of any handsome. Benedict Cumberbatch. He's not exactly, gorgeous.
Well, I would say
Harry Styles.
No, Superman, Witcher.
Henry. Is it Henry?
Yeah,
Henry something.
Cavill.
Caviezel.
Yeah, he's pretty. He's a pretty chiseled looking guy.
Yeah, he's classically handsome, I would say.
Yeah, I would say maybe almost as handsome as me, but
I mean, that's
high bars,
it's a tie for sure.
Tie.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant back in the day. But no, man, Gary Oldman is so good in this. But the whole cast is great. I mean, Kristen Scott Thomas is in this.
There was a moment in the last episode that I was watching where 2 of the characters, and I haven't really caught on all their names, but 2 of the characters are kind of sneaking back into the office for a little, fooling around kind of thing, and
hide the Wookiee.
Yeah, and there was just something about the scene that was like, how much fun can you have with a group of like kind of shitty spies? And that's what it was. Just right. Like they're still very well trained. They're just kind of fucked up, or they're lazy, or they're just arrogant, or whatever. They have flaws, but they're all still pretty well trained. So it's like it makes them interesting characters.
But like in the news, when you hear about someone who was responsible for a huge security leak, or missed the intel
who is
on
that
a terrorist,
asshole?
or that kind of stuff. This is what happens to the people that that happens to. It's like
Right.
the one character, the guy, he left a top secret document on a train on his
Yeah,
way home,
it happens to the best of them.
right?
These are not 007s. These are
No.
the
These are the
00 shit.
these are the administrative people who kind of fucked up,
Yeah.
even though River's a field agent.
Yeah. And you get the feeling like some of them were, maybe on track to be better, but yeah, along the way, something went wrong, and now they're stuck here.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it, is that there's lots of little hints at larger stories, like the gal who's basically the administrative assistant. So her husband killed himself, and Lamb is connected to it some way, and
Right.
know. And the tech guy, the
Oh
hacker,
yeah.
like he does he even know why he's there? He doesn't know why he's there.
I don't think so. No, he doesn't know why.
He's the only one that
he
doesn't
thinks
know.
He knows why, but he doesn't know why. Yeah.
Well,
and we don't know. Like, it's like at first glance, it's like a bunch of fuck ups, and then Lamb is just sort of in purgatory. But then you start to like peel away at the onion a little bit, and you get glances of like, well, maybe Lamb is there for other reasons than just he fucked up, or you're not quite sure yet.
What you find out is that he is a fucking badass agent.
Yeah. Yes, you do find that out. Well, that's what I mean, though. Even though maybe they're fuck ups or they have character flaws or whatever, they're all still like deadly.
Yes.
And that was sort of the interesting thing of like how much fun you can have with this fucking misfit group of deadly, sort of.
Even though Gary Oldman had the best line, and it's and when with the one guy that left the top secret papers on the train after he accidentally kills that guy, and he's like I killed him by accident, and Gary Oldman was like, yeah, if you had tried, you'd be dead, or something. Like,
Yeah, something like that.
If you had actually tried to kill him, you'd be the one that was dead.
Yeah, it's really good. Philip Quick asked us if we've watched Outer Range on Prime. I have not watched that. That's
not yet.
I think that's new, right? That just came out. I want to watch that, yes, but I have not watched it yet.
That's man, I'm senior moments tonight. Josh Brolin.
Yes, I was just gonna say that. Josh Brolin. Yeah, it seems like a really good cast. I don't know. I don't really know what the show is about yet, but it looked interesting. There's so much TV. There's just too much TV. All right, how about we haven't talked any comics yet? We just talked baseball. Oh wait, somebody Greg Porter saying just finished Station 11, which I thought was fantastic. Got me a little choked up at the end. I don't even know if Station 11. I think I started watching that.
So Greg, question, would you agree with me that once you're done with it, Station 11, I finally just realized about 3/4 of the way through that it is what would happen after the apocalypse if the only people that survived were theater nerds.
Oh, that show.
That's
I haven't.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the first episode, and I haven't gone back to it. So
it's really good. And what I like about it is that, me, I love post-apocalyptic and all the utopian.
You love nothing more than a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, exactly. This is a completely different look at it. There's not. I don't even know if there's an actual dead body. I think you see like one dead body in the entire.
Want to see a dead body?
Series, and it was a much more cheerful apocalypse.
I love Mackenzie Davis. I felt
really good.
Yeah, I fell in love with her when she did Burn. What was it?
It's
something Catch Fire. Yeah, Halt and Catch Fire. I loved that show so much. That was such a great show that I felt like didn't get much fanfare. I thought it was such a good show, and she was great.
I would describe that show as people whose opinions you trust about TV liked that show.
Yeah. It's a TV watchers TV show kind of thing.
It's a TV watchers TV show.
Halt and Catch Fire. Yeah, that was a great show. So I'm a big fan. I have to go back to Station 11. I get weird with shows like I have to, like Severance is another show that we've talked about. Really good show, but it's one of those things where I have to be in the right mood.
you
for
can't
that
binge
kind of
it
show.
because you might go into a
It might-
depression.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but like the Minx or Winning Time is like I can watch that every night.
Yeah, and Slow Horses. I watched first 2 episodes the first night, and the third one yesterday, and then I was like, oh fuck, the next one doesn't come out till Friday.
Yeah, that's the problem
Yeah.
with some of
Yeah.
these shows.
But it's a 6-episode season. So,
all
but
right.
yes, you were correct. It is awesome.
I had a feeling you might like
Yeah.
that spy stuff. That's usually up your alley.
Yep. That's my jam.
Yep.
I like that espionage. But I we'll talk some comics and starting with this.
OCT?
Do you remember this?
I do remember that. Yeah. But I
So-
mean, I remember the cover.
Yeah,
that's
so
about all I
it's
remember.
OCT, the Occult Crimes Task Force. So I was moving some photography equipment down in the basement and moving some comics around, and I saw this, and it just reminded me that we've been talking about Rosario Dawson so much lately on ACTV. She's in DMZ, and we were just talking about just the multitude of comics related roles that she's been in now in her career, and you think back, she actually co-wrote this comic from Image Comics called OCT, Occult Crimes Task Force, and she is very obviously a character in it. But yeah, I saw that and it's like, yeah, she's been doing comic stuff for a while, because this was,
I wonder if she is a comic nerd. If she's an actual, because everyone in Hollywood, I think now is sort of,
this is 2007.
Yeah, she was early in on the game, early in on the comics.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. She's a terrific actress. I mean, she's really good. She's that interesting combination of, she's obviously attractive and likable, but also
kind of badass,
kind of a badass, and also a really good actress when she has parts to really dig into, or she's really good. Yeah, so she's an interesting sort of combination of things as an actor.
Yeah she's done a lot of Marvel shit, man.
Well, fuck Star Wars and
oh yeah, she's Asana Taco. I can't say it right now.
Taco
is Asana
Oksana Bayul?
No, not Oksana Bayul.
I don't
Asana
know.
Taco. Whatever.
No idea. No clue.
Yeah, Anakin's apprentice. So anyway, comics. You go.
Well, I'm not going to go in depth about this one, but I reread Batman Year One this week. Just felt like wanting to read. Frank Miller and Mazzucchelli on art.
You did some awesome in your life.
Yeah, well, I had more Batman. I wanted to kind of, I haven't read it in a while, and I wanted to go back and just sort of give it another glance and just take some time with it and really kind of look at it, because it's one of those books where it's like, it's mentioned obviously with, in the canon of the great comics and great, right? It's legendary. It's iconic.
It's a Rushmore comic. I mean,
yeah. And I've always enjoyed it, but I don't know if I've ever appreciated it as much as I should have.
It's hard because it's kind of, it's like Watchmen, DKR, a few others that kind of fall into that category, that it's almost impossible to wash away the nostalgia for those those works, because we read them as they were coming out. When we were teenagers or preteens, and so now I see what you're saying. It's like, I don't know if I've ever sat down with Year One and done like a cartoonist kayfabe,
like a critical sort of
critical look at it.
Well, that's what I kind of did, and I may have been a little high, which I have to say is maybe my favorite way to read comic books. because I definitely get way more into them. But it's fucking brilliant. And I don't know that I gave. I mean, whenever I think about year one, I always think about Mazzucchelli.
Less so than Miller.
Yeah. Yet
or more so
going back and reading that again, it's fucking I'm sorry, I know Frank Miller has pissed a lot of people off in the last 10 years or whatever, and that fucking book is brilliant, and Frank Miller really is a goddamn genius. It is so
you can be a genius and an asshole.
This is true. It's you can. You're right, they're not mutually exclusive, but it just I don't know that I ever appreciated it as much as I probably should have, and how good that book is. It's so good. I enjoyed reading it again so much that I contemplated, if I had the fucking free time, I wanted to do, like, on our Patreon page, a panel by panel breakdown
and
annotate every panel in that fucking book, and every page, because it's that good and it's that well done. And like the pacing and the way that he sort of, it's more of a Jim Gordon book than it is a Batman book. Honestly,
what I would say about it to anyone who has not read it, which is probably not our target audience, it's probably the comic that has been lifted more for movie stuff than any other Batman comic outside of Detective 27.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
There's more of this that hits, movie screens than any other comic.
Well, it's drawn and written like a movie. I mean, it really is. It's very theatrical, in its presentation. And I mean, it's very, it's so interesting because Mazzucchelli's art is so simple yet complicated, in the sense of, like, he's doing this amazing, like, golden age takeoff. I mean, the art is very golden age, yet in a beautiful way, where a lot of the golden age art wasn't necessarily beautifully done. I mean, the some of the character stuff that he does, I mean, there's panels where it's like he barely is putting in the lines of like Jim Gordon's face, but it's Jim Gordon, and it's
the
like
hint of the mustache.
it's pretty amazing. And it was a really interesting experience, like going back and just like really studying it panel by panel, page by page, and getting even greater an appreciation for both the writing and the art in it. It really is just amazing. And I feel like I finally have a true appreciation for that book.
Nice. Well, we were talking about it a little bit whenever we were going over Old Man Logan, because one of the things that was neat about Old Man Logan is that happened in the Wolverine ongoing series. It wasn't
right, we talked about that with
miniseries,
that's right,
or a graphic novel. It was Wolverine, issue 72 to 70,
right,
or whatever. It's same thing. I think a lot of people forget that Batman Year One was not like DK,
a standalone, right? It wasn't a graphic novel. It was 4 issues in the run, which was interesting. It was an event, though. I mean, it was promoted and advertised of this 4-issue event with Frank Miller and Mazzucchelli. I mean, it was not just like, Frank Miller's, and it was certainly.
So this is what, 1980? Is it 1984? Is it the same year as Watchmen and DKR?
I don't think so. I think it's I don't 86.
Maybe 85.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Right on the heels. I mean,
I read the 2007 deluxe edition on Hoopla.
Well, it's Frank Miller and John Byrne, and to maybe a lesser extent, George Perez and Alan Moore. I mean, those are the biggest names in comics, all putting out their best work within this, few year span.
Right.
And I think that's part of that announcement. The hype of that is like, oh shit, it's Miller Mazzucchelli are doing a 4-issue run on, in Batman. And it was kind of, it was smart by the comic companies because it drove people to those issues. I'm sure a lot of people just kept buying Batman after that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think didn't they like, was it Gotham Knights or something spun off like immediately after that? I felt like another Batman something, maybe. I don't remember, came like right after that, if I thought.
Well, it's probably whenever they started expanding the line, and, more and more titles.
I'm sure it helped sales for sure.
Oh yeah,
but it really is just but there was one really interesting panel, and reading it again, it was like, in this day and age, this, I don't know if this was just me reading into it or what, but the idea that like Frank Miller, people like, and I know he's put out some stuff where it certainly says that about him, but like the idea that he was necessarily, right wing, left wing, whatever he might have been at that point in time, he certainly was very liberal and more of an anarchist, I think, than anything.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely leaning more towards the anarchy.
Yeah, but
line than
in the first issue,
he's a libertarian that went just a little bit farther.
In the first issue, you have, before Batman ever shows up, Bruce Wayne basically beats up a gang of hookers and then takes out a fucking squad of cops. Like, that's the first issue. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't take out any and then watches a guy die. Like, he doesn't take but there's one panel where like he puts the fake scar on and the hat, and he's going undercover as like an army vet in the worst part of town, and he walks in, like he walks into the Lower East Side, and he's talking about how horrible it is. This is the worst part of the city. This is the blah blah blah. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, you're a fucking billionaire, dude. Why are you going in dressed as an army vet? You fucking lunatic. Why are you not, because he's just like walking over, hobos on the street and junkies and shit, and just like commenting on it. And it's like, yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, there's some weird stuff in it,
Yeah. It's all the stuff that you always thought was a little weird, but you couldn't quite explain. It's all there now.
Yeah.
When you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah. Frank was weird. Do you have the artist edition?
I do. I didn't go through that this time because I was reading it before bed. Yeah, it's amazing. That's something I can't read.
No, I
you know what I mean?
That's one I do pull out from time to time.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Mazzucchelli's amazing. But it's in, like, I every time I see some of the characters that he draws in that book, it's like he's doing Dick Tracy characters. They don't even look like people. They look like these weird, fucking Dick Tracy, kind of characters, villains. And yeah, he's doing all sorts of weird shit in that book that you don't necessarily catch the first time around. He does so many different little stylistic things. But yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Outside of Born Again and this run and Asterius Polyp, I mean, what else? I mean, Mazzucchelli's work is so small.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing a lot of commercial work. I think he was doing other stuff that I think comics he was one of those guys that comics sort of broke his heart or something. I don't know. I don't know the whole story, but yeah, I think there's not a lot. Unfortunately, there's not a lot. Philip Quick asks, sorry if this is a dumb question, but what did Frank Miller do to catch so much hate? After 9/11, Frank said some very Islamophobia kind of stuff. He put out what was the name of that?
Holy Terror,
which was originally supposed to be a Batman story,
and DC's like, whoa.
Yeah, because he was basically it was Batman fighting terrorists. And so killing them brutally, which, I mean, we talked about this before. It's like 9/11. He's Frank's a New Yorker. He lived in New York. 9/11
It
was
broke him.
something that he reacted to in a
Visceral way.
visceral, yeah. And it's like, I don't know, I think people maybe make more of it than maybe they should, one way or the other. I don't, it's like, it was his way of maybe dealing with it. It's like a couple thousand people were fucking brutally murdered by terrorists in planes, and who did we blame? Who was responsible? I don't know who. I can't sit here and fucking answer all the political things, but it's understandable from some perspective of like, someone was really affected by that and they put it in their art form. Is it right or wrong? Or I don't, that's not how art should be judged, I don't think, necessarily from a political perspective, but whatever. So that's basically it. And it's like anything else. Once you get a certain age, I think people just want to see you done away with.
And I think he started being very point blank about a lot of the things that he believed in that were, as we have been talking about, just kind of like hinted at in the comics, and he kind of clarified a lot of those beliefs. And that's okay. Be frank, he's still one of the greatest comic book creators of all time, and
for
will
sure
always be viewed that way. I think Wayne has a good comparison for Mazzucchelli, and that's Paul Pope. That's a guy that when he does something, people take note, and there's just never seems like there's enough of it, even though I think Paul Pope at this point has done a lot more than Mazzucchelli did.
Yeah, I would agree. But yeah, Pope is definitely, I think Sean Murphy was around that.
Murphy was like that.
He didn't do a ton of shit, and when you saw it, it was like, whoa.
Bruce Timm.
Yeah, but he was busy doing other stuff.
Yeah, but when he does comics work,
right,
it's an event, and it happens a couple times a decade. You get like maybe an issue out of him.
I would say Sienkiewicz is a guy that's kind of like that. I mean, other than covers,
I see that he's doing something at Marvel.
He didn't announce what, but he said he just started a new job at Marvel, whatever that means. I don't know if that's a comic. I don't know. Maybe he's bringing back Moon Knight. I don't know. Maybe he's going to work on
Assassin 2022.
Maybe Steranko. Yeah, that's another guy. Steranko.
Yeah. That's it's speaking of
Chris is. I was gonna say Chris is gonna tell the Steranko story now.
No, when we had to get him in, when we got him into New York Comic Con.
Yeah,
that was good stuff. I didn't take advantage of that enough.
No, definitely not.
After the fact,
definitely not.
So, but yeah.
What were you gonna say?
No idea.
Oh, what are you reading? You go. I talked about year one long enough.
So, guy in Chicago that you probably know him way more than I do, but was kind of around the comic scene and knew he was aspiring writer and all that. Just happened to read 2 books of his in the last week, and talking about Michael Mordecai.
Oh yeah. Yes, he's a great guy.
He's a great guy, and I hadn't read much of his stuff, a little bit here and there, leading up to this. But did you pick up the Stranger Things Kamchatka?
I did not. I did not see that. I didn't pick it up
having
yet.
All of the pronunciation issues.
Yeah, you're having.
It's Osaka Tano. Not Taco.
I don't know. Tano, Taco.
But Stranger Things Kamchatka.
Kamchatka.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a Kamchatka.
Kamchatka. It's a city or a country.
The rest of
it's Russia.
Okay. All right. I don't know.
But did you read it?
I didn't read it. Tell me about it.
Go read it now and then come back.
All right, I'll read it.
Art by some guy named Todor. And I'm not even going to try his last name.
You're having
it's all consonants. But yeah, it's good.
Kamchatka.
It just fits into that Stranger Things universe and a little side story, but on the other side of the upside down in Russia. So this is a Russian story
Oh,
about them investigating the underneath, actually capturing one of the crazy monsters from the underneath,
they just announced that the
or the upside
villain,
down. I'm sorry, the upside down.
oh, the new villain in the season 4 was just announced as sort of it's a Dungeons and Dragons lich god or something, I guess. Yeah,
It's a lich.
a
Is it
lich.
a lich fist?
Lich, it is, yeah, Lich Fist. Yeah, Michael Mordecai is an interesting. He, like you said, he was sort of, when we were just kind of stopping doing the podcast the
Yeah.
first time around, and he was just kind of coming up as a writer, and I had
Yeah.
gotten to know him a little bit. I think I spent an evening at a Christmas party or something talking with him.
It's
and
like
just,
he was like, friends with friends of ours.
right,
Kinda,
right.
Yeah.
And yeah, then all of a sudden he wrote a book, and then he wrote comics, and then he's super prolific. Now he's written Star Wars stuff and all sorts. He's writing all sorts of comic books, and a really good writer, and a really good guy. I've talked to him a few times. I have kept trying to get him on the show a while back, and just I think he might have been on the show at some point. I don't remember. But yeah, a really good writer, and he does a lot of horror stuff, and
he's all over the place.
Yeah.
And it does some IP stuff. The Stranger Things seems to be a real good match for his voice. He's good, totally enthralled with the story. It's enough of a little pocket of that I think he's able to tell his own story, but just in that universe, which is cool. But
Kamchatka.
And I'm looking forward to I saw the trailer for season 4.
Yes, I can't wait. These kids are going to be like 27 years old by the time they get this.
Is this
season.
it? Is this last season?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, I don't know. Part of me hopes it is. Part of me hopes it isn't.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it so much, but it's taking so much time to get them out, that it's like these kids are going to be having kids of their own soon,
right?
But I still love the whole concept of Stranger Things, and just the whole aesthetic and everything about it, really. So the comics have been pretty good. Most of the comics that I've read,
I actually do. Yeah. And I don't read that many. Well, I guess we actually have been reading a lot of, IP comics between, the Star Wars stuff that we've been checking out. So,
well, I mean, every superhero comic that we read, technically.
At this point. But anyway, he did another book that just came out called The Jonses.
The Jonses, keeping up with the Jonses. I did see that. I did not read it.
It's pretty cool. It's the idea. It's that mild spoilers here. The setup is that there was an event that happened at some point, and a lot of people died, and a lot of people got superpowers, and the people that got superpowers are feared, and it's kind of almost an X-Men vibe, that they're the distrusted mutant kind of things. And this focuses on one family, that the Jonses, who are hiding the fact that their entire family now has powers of some sort.
Oh, why are they hiding it? Fear and distrust.
Because there's a movement within the neighborhood to expel anyone.
Neighborhood watch. Nice neighborhood watch.
It's just like
can always count on your neighbors to.
Exactly. Be there even when things get bad. It was a interesting book. So
sounds interesting. I'll have to check it out. Especially
always like to see it when them Chicago guys is.
I was just gonna say that. I gotta, as a Chicago guy, I gotta definitely support those dudes, those good dudes that always supported us so much.
Yeah.
So I read another Batman book.
You're digging the bat these days.
I am really into Batman.
Yeah.
I think the new Batman movie kind of really reinvigorated my love of Batman. But
that's out on HBO next week.
Yeah, I think the
so.
18th or something
18th,
like that.
yeah. So I'm
Tuesday.
at this point. I was gonna go see it in the theater, but at this point, I'm just gonna watch it on
Wait,
HBO.
yeah. It's 3 hours, dude. I mean, it's a 3-hour movie. It doesn't necessarily. Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like a 3-hour movie, kind of doesn't, but I mean, it's 3 hours.
It's hard for me to do that at the theater. I'm too old.
I did it. I went and saw it at the theater.
Yeah.
And, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Okay, cool.
But it's 3 hours. I mean, you're there all fucking night. So yeah, I don't blame you necessarily. I mean, I'm gonna watch it again. But it's going to be one of those movies that I'm going to watch in chunks, probably. Like, I don't know that I'm going to sit down and
watch 3 hours here, hour there.
Yeah.
Fall asleep. The grass.
But yeah, I read that. Well, I talked about last week. I reread the Azzarello and Rizzo Flashpoint Batman.
Yeah, which was really as we mentioned, the best part about Flashpoint.
Yeah, and the Thomas Wayne story. So this is Flashpoint Beyond, the Jeff Johns and Rizzo, which is weird.
It's that just, I mean, like when you hear about team ups and it's like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, which this is Azzarello and Rizzo was fucking.
This is more like fish and ice cream.
Yeah, I feel like Johns is trying to do Azzarello. But I don't know if it's just because the art is just I just associate Rizzo so fucking much with Azzarello's writing, but then I read this and I'm like, well, this isn't Azzarello. I don't know who this is. This is Jeff Johns, I guess. I didn't dislike it. I just it took me a little bit to get into it. I mean, the art is gorgeous. It's maybe Rizzo. I have to give the colorist Trish Mulvihill did some beautiful work on some of this art, because it goes between like the traditional coloring of Rizzo's art to this more like watercolory.
Well, they may be working, collaborating together, because she's been coloring him for a long time. She did the entire 100 Bullets run, I think.
Well, this is, I feel like a little bit of an evolution, at least for her work.
Okay.
On this, and I really enjoyed it. And it was interesting because it wasn't like the whole book was that way, and it wasn't like it was done in a way where it separated itself from one another. But it was interesting where like there were times where it was used, this sort of, additional shading and watercolory kind of effect. And I thought it was really good. It worked really well. And it just enhanced Rizzo's work even more, I thought. And especially like there was a whole sequence with Barry. I will say this about Johns. He did do a good job of pretending to be Azzarello in the scene where basically Thomas Wayne. So the story is it's very much like Flashpoint, except in this one, Thomas Wayne wakes up and he is in a world that he doesn't recognize. Because originally Barry Allen fixed everything, right? Barry Allen had gone back in time to save. I'll give you a Flashpoint refresher. So in Flashpoint, Barry Allen had gone back in time to save his mother, but it screwed up time all over the place, right? And one of the places was Thomas Wayne and Bruce Wayne in I don't know, whatever Earth. In this alternate Earth, basically, Joe Chill didn't kill Thomas and Martha. He killed Bruce. And just Bruce Wayne.
Just Bruce.
Yeah. And so Thomas Wayne becomes this very vengeful Batman, and Martha, through her sort of morose and just sadness of losing her son, she becomes the Joker. So that's how Barry Allen fucked up their universe.
It's always fucking Barry's fault.
But in Flashpoint, he fixes all that and it goes back to normal, right? Like after a while, that's how it happens. So in this starts off where now somebody has screwed that all up again. And Martha Bruce did die. Martha was the Joker. She died. And now Harvey Dent's kids are kidnapped. And so there's this whole thing. But Thomas Wayne wakes up and he realizes that something's wrong, that this isn't the way things are supposed to be. So he remembers everything. And so he goes looking for answers. And one of the things he does is he hunts down Barry Allen. And Barry Allen is just Barry Allen. He's not the Flash. And so Thomas Wayne decides, well, I don't have time to wait. So I'm going to turn you into the Flash. And he straps him into a chair on the roof of a building, surrounds him with chemicals, and
Jesus Christ,
puts a fucking lightning rod, basically.
That's not fucked up.
It was fun. And I won't tell you how it ends, but it was fucked up. It was
slightly charred Barry Allen.
It was like, okay, that was a good Azarillo. That was dark and fucked up as I expected. So I will say that for Johns.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not just that though. I mean, Azarillo, he is a wordsmith, not just the fucked up part of his brain. It's he paints a picture with words that is very specific to him.
He writes jazz with his words. I mean, you know what I mean? Like he is lyrical and he has just such a rhythm and John's as good of a comic book writer as Johns is. He's not that. And
you can almost hear the metronome, with Azarillo's dialogue.
And combined with Rizzo's art, it's just like, those two are so simpatico. It just works so well together, and it's just this beautiful sort of thing. Now that, like I said, this was good. I enjoyed it. I'm going to continue reading it.
There's no one better in comics than Rizzo with Azarillo telling stories just through art that are happening in the background, right? How many like background stories did they tell in 100 Bullets? There's always something going on that may not be in the forefront or in whatever plot line you're currently on, and there's just always something going on that would either foreshadow future stuff or just be these neat little vignettes. He's so good at doing that.
And plus Johns is just such a comic book nerd that he expects everyone to have the same fucking level of nerd knowledge that he has. So it's like he puts these characters and things and and it's just like, I don't know, who the fuck is this? I don't know who this is. Who are the Time Masters? Who is I don't know who these characters are. I mean, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, but it's just one of those things. But like I said, I don't want to shit on Jeff Johns. He's a terrific comic book writer. It was just hard to sort of get past it initially, seeing Rizzo's work with someone else. It just doesn't make my brain doesn't want to make sense of it for some reason. Whenever I see Rizzo, I think Azarillo. I
think Johns is in the best role as like he's chief creative officer, because he has an incredible love for this universe and these characters, and he's really, really good at coming up with ideas to make them feel nostalgic but at the same time relevant.
Right? I agree.
He's really that is the core of what makes him a really good creative. So I think that is I like that aspect more than I actually like reading his comics now, right?
Yeah, I agree. But he's Jeff Johns, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we think.
Read it.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter.
But it was good. I'm looking forward to see where this goes. I like Thomas Wayne Batman a little bit. I mean, I enjoy him as just sort of this, brutal, no nonsense kind of Batman running around.
Crazy.
A little driven, a little more driven. Once again, I love Batman, because you can tell all sorts of stories with him and different,
Oh.
the fact that you can, use different universes now and actually literally have different Batmen,
Yeah.
Bat people.
The Batman, 66 exists in his own little
That
Bat
he
universe.
does. That he does.
And that's fine. If that's your Batman, that's awesome. Neil Adams shirtless Batman. Yeah, he's out there.
Neil Adams shirtless Batman. I don't know who needs that, but he's out there if you need it, if you want it.
There's plenty of people that want that.
That want shirtless Batman.
And I'm not judging.
No.
Yeah, it's there's a comic on the stands now. What, the Batman 89? It's basically the Tim Burton Batman.
Yeah, he's coming back, right? In something Flash movie or something. I don't know.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton is
as old Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Is it going to be? Are they doing Batman Beyond?
I don't know. I don't remember. No, it's going to be like I think it's in the Flash movie, because the Flash, could go to
it depends if that Ezra,
the multiverse,
nuts keeps getting arrested. He got arrested again.
Yeah, that's true. They may have to fucking scrap those movies, which would be
that dude. That dude, he keeps fucking stepping.
He's a drunk.
Yeah.
Wayne said it. They're doing the Flashpoint movie, or at least that's what.
That won't fucking confuse anyone.
Hey man, people are geeks now. They just gotta go and they just go to YouTube and they'll watch a video and then it'll explain it all to them, so they don't have to read the comics. Don't worry about it. I don't understand Flashpoint. I read this and I'm like, I gotta read Flashpoint. I don't remember anything from Flashpoint.
You don't have to.
Yeah. Oh, the title of the movie is Flashpoint.
Oh, yeah, they're just leaning all the way in.
All right, there you go. There you go. Well, they did it in the TV show already.
Yeah.
Flash, essentially, and he was in it. That Flash, the drunk, beat up guy Flash, was in the Flash TV show.
Oh, he showed up on the TV show?
I believe so, if I remember correctly. Yeah, briefly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the beauty of of multiverses, is that there is an Earth CW.
There is an Earth CW, and
that's exactly what I would call
terrible. It's all terrible.
I guess it's good for an episode or two. And
it's good for a season, and then too many characters. And
if this is how I describe it, so Marta will have the TV on as background while she's working. She's one of the people that can do that. I have trouble with TV on. I'm a music person, but she has some sort of Law and Order on pretty much all day.
Ta-da!
Yeah, that's how I look at the CW DC universe. It's like that is actually something I could have on in the background. And
you don't have to really pay attention to it.
Yeah.
You just kind of, it's there.
You almost absorb it, through osmosis. Just
that's what baseball is for.
Baseball is a good one. Yeah, exactly.
Back to baseball. To baseball.
Everything
I read another another book that has to do with like old superheroes and time travel and all the things that are popular today.
Okay.
It was called Project Superpowers Fractured State. It's from it's a Dynamite book. And I've so Project
Superpower, that's the series that originally Alex Ross was doing covers for.
That
was kind of that was the big draw, were the Alex Ross covers.
It's all like public domain characters, Black Terror and the Flag, and and they've done a shit ton of those books, and I've always kind of wanted to read them, and I've dipped my toe in them a little bit, but for the most part, a lot of them I felt weren't not that good. This one was actually pretty good, and I enjoyed it. And it was basically a character, the Flag, who's like a Captain America-ish kind of character from the Golden Age. He is sort of battling someone in the shadows that looks like it's maybe Black Terror, but you never really see. And which
is a great name,
the Black Terror, and a great costume. Black Terror's got a great costume.
Great costume.
But he gets defeated, and then he wakes up like in the year 2057 or something like that, and it's a kind of a police state, and all the heroes are gone, and you just have him, and then he's like picked up, he's rescued by like 3 black terrors, and they're like the only ones left, and he's very confused and everything. But it was really, I really kind of enjoyed it. Like I was glad
It was fun.
yeah, it was fun, and it looked really good. That was the biggest thing, because I feel like a lot of times in the Dynamite books, their biggest downfall is that they just don't get good enough artists. And there have been many times with the Dynamite book that I'm interested in the concept or the idea, the character, and I open the book and I'm just like,
can't get past the art.
Yeah, they just need to hire better artists for their books. This one had a good artist, and I'm going to look up who it was, because I really want to give credit where credit is due. Hold on one second.
Yeah, I always felt that was kind of the wrap on them and most of the comics that were coming out of Dynamite. It was a second tier publisher. It just was.
And I don't know if it's a matter of just purely a financial thing where they just can't afford to get better artists, or it was simply like they just didn't have an eye for it, whoever was sort of hiring. But this is written by okay, I didn't even realize this it was written by Ron Mars and Andy Lanning, so right there you have two.
That's
yes. The art is by Emilio Utrera. Utrera, Utrera. I don't know who is, but it was really good. I mean, this looked like, as good as anything coming out of Marvel or DC. And as far as just purely from an art standpoint, it was it looked great, and that really got me to read the whole book. And I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of an interesting story. I want to kind of see where this goes. It actually, who the art reminds me of a bit is Paul Peltier. Remember Paul Peltier?
Peltier.
Yeah. Or Peltier, however, I don't remember how to say it.
Well, he did stuff with Lanning, right? Didn't he do some Guardian stuff?
I think so. Yeah. I think you're right. He did a bunch of Fantastic Four and all sorts of, but that's what it kind of the art has that feel to it a little bit. Body shapes. Nice. Character designs, that kind of thing. But I actually liked it. It was just sort of like, oh, okay, this is something I can jump into. I don't really have to know anything about any of these characters, even though they've been around since forever. But I hope that Dynamite starts using better artists, because I think they have good ideas and good concepts and characters and stuff like that. I love the idea of like using public domain characters, but what it sounds
like to me is that they may be finding artists outside of the United States,
right, that are cheaper and better.
which Marvel has been fucking doing since the 70s.
Absolutely. CB Cebulski was the fucking guy to find those guys. I mean, that was basically his job before he was the
I remember him saying at a convention, he said it's almost like clockwork. As soon as a country gets widespread broadband access, we start getting submissions from artists.
Sure.
And it's just kind of like, they come in waves. And he was their international talent scout.
I mean, and Wayne saying, Dynamite doesn't pay that much for their artists. They're cheap. I get that. But I feel like there are other companies that probably aren't paying that much more, that maybe have a better eye for talent or work a little harder to find those talents. Is Boom paying a ton more? I don't know. I don't know if Boom is paying a bunch more pay, higher page rate. There seems like there's other places that get really good artists. Right. So Dynamite, I don't know, just fucking get better artists somehow. Find them, or just give all your work to this dude, this Emilio, at least until he gets scooped up by someone else, some other publisher that pays him better.
Which is okay.
Well, that's
how
what
it
he's
should be.
doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's how
Exactly.
it should be. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out for sure. That sounds
Yeah, it was
cool.
pretty cool. It was 20. Yeah, the year was 2052, and it's Project
The year was
Superpowers,
2052.
Fractured State, Fractured States #1.
That's so it's fractured.
It's
But
Project
it's
Superpowers
Project Superpowers Fractured State.
colon Fractured States #1. Yeah, there's a ton of. I mean, there's a shit ton of Project
That come out this
Superpowers.
week?
I believe it did. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Maybe this week or last week. I can't remember. I don't know. I was catching up still. I had stuff.
Last week. Yeah.
Oh, was it last week? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, Black Terror is just a cool costume. Just the skull
Absolutely.
and crossbones and the little domino mask. It's
Yeah,
it's
you
a
always
very
kind of get the feeling that IDW or Dynamite got the rights, or not the rights, but they started getting these public domain characters and doing these for movie deals.
something. I don't know. I don't know what I mean, I think it was just a cheap way to have like superheroes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like instead of like creating your own, it's like, oh, we have,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's the old Doc Savage thing.
yeah, just use some public
Oh,
domain.
yeah, it's
some shitty public.
It's Alan Moore and O'Neill. It's a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, right. Public domain characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a ton. There is a shit ton of public domain superhero characters out there. These are some of them more. Is Superman public domain now?
To a very limited extent.
Yeah.
It's as he first appeared. So, but like Lois, we just talked about this. Like Lois and Jimmy Olsen, and they are not. And like the Superman that is public domain can't fly. He can just leap really far.
I think I want to do a Superman comic book. Just
you can do
public domain
Yeah.
public domain superhero character.
Someone has to have done that by now.
I would think. I'm going to do
because that's been a few years.
Let's see. We got Miss Fury, the Butterfly, the original Daredevil, the Green Llama, Moon Girl, Captain Battle, Red Rube, Santa Claus. Santa Claus is a superhero. Dorothy and Astro Man.
The Green Llama, was that?
The Green Llama?
Was that in a Project Superpowers? I know I've seen that.
I think so. I believe
comics.
so. Yeah. I believe he has been. Yes.
Yeah.
Jethro Dumont, a rich resident of New York City, spent 10 years in Tibet studying to be a lama, a Buddhist guru, and learning many mystical secrets in the process. He returned to the United States in order to spread the Buddhist teachings, but after witnessing a murder, he realized he could be of more help by fighting evil and crime. He receives his green Lama powers by reciting the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. Dumont is also endowed with superhuman abilities acquired through his scientific knowledge of radioactive salts. So there you go. There's the Green Llama. His superhuman strength is nearly invulnerable, can levitate, and can summon ghosts to aid him. What? Ghosts? Why? Why ghosts? Oh, that's funny.
Yep.
Ooh, there's a character called Six Gun Gorilla.
That sounds amazing.
Right?
Sounds awesome.
He's a gorilla with a bandolero and a 6-gun on his hip. 6-Gun Gorilla was an ape named O'Neill who was an infant, was kidnapped and brought from Africa to the United States, where he was sold to a prospector named Bart Masters of Colorado. Masters was a loving owner whom the gorilla grew to love like a father. Bart Masters taught his gorilla to dig, fetch firewood, gather water, cook, clean, and most importantly, load and fire a revolver. Unfortunately, Bart Masters was murdered by Tut Strawhan, leader of the Strawhan gang, in order to learn what Masters knew about the Great Mother Lode. O'Neill swore revenge on his master's killers and set out armed and dangerous to kill every member of the Strawhan gang.
With apparently a super intelligent gorilla as well, which they don't even mention.
With only his bandolier and 2 6-shooters, the ape tracked down and killed the murderers one by one. However, the 6-gun gorilla died just as he killed his nemesis, Tut Strawhan. Oh, he died. Man, that's a Quentin Tarantino movie. The 6-gun gorilla. That's I think I
That's
want to.
fantastic.
I think we should bring 6-gun gorilla back. I don't know.
It writes itself.
Right? His original name was O'Neill. First appeared in Wizard, 1939.
Oh, Jesus.
Not that wizard, I guess. A different wizard.
Different wizard. All right. Yeah. Want to thank everyone for chiming in the comments section. Quite the conversation going on over there tonight.
I think I'm going to do a weekly public domain superhero. Public domain superhero of the week.
That would be amazing.
That'd be kind of fun, right?
We can start to put together our own like Justice League.
Yeah.
We can
just come up with all sorts of do
our own League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yes. This is true.
And 6-gun gorilla is on the team.
Oh, no question. He may be the leader. I mean, he's obviously incredibly intelligent.
And a badass.
And a badass gorilla. He's a gorilla with 2 6-guns.
Yeah. Oh, Stephen Orr said he thinks that Boom may have done a 6-gun gorilla.
Oh, I
might
have to pick that
something that cool. It's not going to get past
right.
These companies that have obviously done a Google search of public domain superheroes.
Peacemaker is a public domain.
Yeah, that makes
character.
Sense. Yeah.
I guess you couldn't do the current version, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know how that works. Yeah. Like,
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah. Could I just do a Peacemaker?
Do it until they sue you.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to take that chance. I don't know. I'm not sure Peacemaker, my Peacemaker comic book is gonna do that well.
We mentioned the Patreon earlier. Check that out. Patreon.com/Around Comics, and you get extra content like me and Sal talking about TVs and movies, like we did a little bit tonight. Tom will do some Tom verses coming up here, and we've got K. Billy Super Sounds. Inglourious Bastards is our current Tarantino movie. We got that in a couple weeks.
Bastards.
Our
book of the month is.
But it's not. It's Trade Talks.
Trade Talks. Our Trade Talks is
Once in Future by Kieran
Once in Future. Yeah.
Which I got on the Hoopla and read the first issue, and it was good.
All right. Well, save the rest for that. For that episode.
That's what, probably a couple weeks from now.
Not sure. Yeah. What is it? The 14th? Yeah, a couple weeks.
Something like that. So a couple weeks. So yeah, that's what I got.
That's everything for me, man.
Everyone have an awesome, safe Easter this weekend.
Don't blow up any chickens, or is that what you do on Easter? You blow up chickens? I don't know. Kill rabbits. You murder rabbits and dip them in chocolate. Is that you drown rabbits in chocolate? Is that that's not your Easter tradition?
Easter did you have?
No, I don't know. We drowned rabbits in chocolate and put them on the mantle. That was our.
And then deep fried them.
Not everybody does that.
Deep fried chocolate rabbits.
Yeah.
So yeah, have an awesome Easter weekend, and we will be back next Thursday, 8:00 Central Standard Time, and you can also get this podcast. Blah blah blah. In the meantime,
in between time,
we're gonna be everywhere in.
Hand around comics.
Sure, everyone missed Tom tonight.
Fuck them. You know, I'm tired of these Tom lovers.
Yeah,
it's enough. You know,
the Tom Gloms. Is Glom on to Tom?
Tom Gloms. You know, Tom's not that likable. Honestly, you know,
he really is.
He really is kind of curmudgeon-y,
right?
You know, crabby son of a bitch, and I don't know why everybody likes him so much. Yeah, I'm crabby. Yeah. Nobody likes me. What the hell?
It's a different kind of crabby.
Tom Gloms. Bye.